So I watched the Superman movie the other day, and just wow. I mean, wow. James Gunn has done it again. This man is the perfect superhero movie maker. He is 5 for 5 on his superhero movies. He has just yet to drop the ball. From the first trailer, I could tell this movie was gonna be sick. The first trailer made me feel things. It made me emotional. It showed that this film was gonna be full of optimism and hope. And the movie fully delivers on all of those expectations. All the way from the technical to the thematic, this film excels. It's super creative, and it just feels like an optimistic breath of fresh air. I feel like people have been feeling pretty tired of the kind of overwhelming negativity from shows like The Boys and, to an extent, Invincible. Not that those are bad shows, but that kind of pessimism has just kind of been getting on people's nerves as of late. And Superman feels like a full 180 to that. I mean, the very themes of this film are doing what's right, despite what others say, and finding a sense of self within those actions. These are the main things that in the film Superman is struggling with, and I feel like those are great things to have him try to grapple with. It can be pretty easy to have a character as strong as Superman feel boring and static, because the idea of Superman is that he is just the strongest guy, so it's pretty easy to have him have no conflict. So this film sidesteps that by kind of making him more emotionally vulnerable in contrast to his physical invulnerability. Throughout the film, Clark struggles with people's reactions to what he's doing and his sense of self in relation to those actions. The way people see what he does challenges how he sees himself. His alien heritage and his overwhelming power are weaponized against him within the public eye, and those kinds of storylines work very well for a character like him. His emotional vulnerability is exploited very well to give him a great conflict. And to briefly speak on the current state of affairs going on in the world, having such a hopeful and optimistic movie with these themes of doing what's good despite what they say is really cool. And the film is also like the most anti-Israel, anti-billionaire film to be out right now, which fucking rocks. That puts everyone else around him at risk. That kind of social commentary is very nice to see, and I feel like it really works into the themes of Superman, who Superman is like a very kind of human character, but isn't human. He's an alien, but he acts more human than Lex Luthor, who is a human but acts very inhuman in these horrible ways. Speaking of which, David Cornsweth and Nicholas Hoult do a great job of playing Clark Kent and Lex Luthor. David really makes Superman feel like a down-to-earth, kind of normal guy who just wants to do the right thing, and does like a great way of showing that Clark kind of code switches between people who know him as Clark Kent and Superman. Around the people who know him as Clark Kent, he acts kind of a little meek, a little aloof, but he has a lot of his genuine personality shown. And with the people who only know him as Superman, he acts like kind of a little stoic, like kind of traditional superhero kind of stoicism, and has a lot of confidence within him. But for the people that know him as both, he kind of sheds that kind of stoicism from Superman and keeps that confidence, and he sheds kind of like that meek and aloofness from Clark Kent, but keeps his genuine personality mixing the two. And like I said before, Nicholas Hoult does a great job and really embodies Lex as a proud, envious hater. I mean, I'm a sucker for hater villains, and Lex Luthor in this movie really feels like just the biggest hater on earth. He really brings the kind of wrath that they were talking about in the Bible to this movie. He has one monologue in particular in the climax that just, you can feel the hatred seething out of him. And he just does such a great performance, exemplifying Lex's hatred of Superman. The other members of the cast also do a great job as well. Rachel Brosnahan does a great job of showing Lois Lane as kind of a driven career girl who, in contrast to Superman, is assured of who she is, but struggles letting people into her life, which is kind of the opposite way that Superman is. This creates a very fun dynamic in their relationship where they're kind of in different places, and that kind of causes conflict between them, and you kind of get to watch as these conflicts are resolved and their relationship is strengthened. As for the other Supes, I feel like Nathan Fillion does a great job playing Guy Gardner. He really makes him feel like a smug asshole in a way that is more funny and not annoying, and for the viewer, that is. And he has a really great dynamic with Elizabeth Merced's Hawk Girl, who has this very fun, too cool for school kind of attitude, and pokes a lot of fun at Guy and has a lot of fun banter with him. And Eddie Gathegi fully pulls off Mr. Terrific as a kind of stoic badass, and none of anything that he says ever feels eye-rolling. His performance always feels very confident and very assured of himself. Mr. Terrific also gets one of the coolest fight scenes in the movie. He has this really creative lawn take that takes full advantage of his power set and really complements his ultra-competent persona. And that's one thing I really appreciate about the movie as a whole. All of the action scenes take full advantage of each character's power set and abilities. And what helps with that is that each action scene also has the camera moving a lot, which really stimulates the audience, keeping the fights feeling engaging and dynamic, which, when is combined with the incredibly punchy sound design, makes every blow feel really impactful and like they're really fighting. It really immerses you in the scenes. Saw blades will whiz around the camera and cut through metal. The camera shakes as Superman flies around, and his punches have a real sense of impact. The action also involves a lot of saving people in ways that feel very natural and really bring this hero and superhero. I feel like in a movie like The Thunderbolts, saves felt kind of forced and unnaturally placed. They didn't feel really appropriately included. They could have definitely been included a lot better, but here they feel really natural. They're paced out really nicely, and they never feel like, oh, now it's the compilation where they save people. They always feel naturally included into the action. The CGI also blends into the movie really well, in my opinion, which may be a little bit of a controversial take. I feel like by focusing more on the style versus looking realistic, they kind of pull off the Elden Ring Dark Souls effect, where it doesn't really matter that it doesn't look that realistic, because it's often used to show things that you couldn't see in another movie with practical effects. And it's often used not to cut corners, but to show things that just wouldn't be possible otherwise. The only problem that I have with this movie is that it just kind of drags at points. Maybe I'm just like a zoomer-brained viewer, but it feels like during the middle of the movie that the plot kind of slows down a lot, and that you're just kind of waiting for lots of different plot points to kind of coalesce and intertwine. And given when they do coalesce and intertwine during the climax, it does feel very great. But I feel like if the plot points were juggled a bit better, then it probably wouldn't feel like it dragged so much in the middle. Oh, and just one other problem is that the exposition also feels a little heavy-handed. There are some lines that feel very unnatural and forced, and just kind of feels like they're spoon-feeding the audience the information just because they have to. Overall, between the refreshing themes, great action, excellent cinematography, and wonderful acting, only being weighed down by some poor pacing and some heavy-handed exposition, I have to say that Superman is a very solid 9 out of 10.